I can now see why they put Daytona as the regular season finale. This was by far possibly the craziest race of the season, hands down. I mean, we've had some crazy races during the regular season, but this was just what a way to close out the regular season, with rain, crazy racing throughout the pack, a bunch of wrecks, rain, and then, oh my gosh, and then the guy with the terrible TV show who's not even going to do crap in the playoffs wins it. We have a lot to talk about after Daytona. Hey guys, NASCAR Mobile 48 back again. We're back to another episode of NRR. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the 2022 Coke Zero Sugar 400 from the famed Daytona International Speedway. What a race it was. Oh man, we have a lot to unpack. I just have to say, Dylan gets the win. Truex is out of the playoffs. We have to look at the playoff standings going into Darlington. We have to talk about the drama going throughout this race. We have a lot to talk about, so like we always do, we're going to look at our top 10 finishers. We're going to rate the race. Our biggest story of the race, I guess we'll talk about the drivers who made the playoffs, and also we'll probably talk about like NASCAR with the rain, so we'll do all that later. And then we're going to look at our drivers of the day, and then we'll end it off looking at the playoff standings going into the first race of the playoffs at Darlington next weekend. So let's go ahead and not waste any more time and dive on into this review. So finishing first was Austin Dillon. What a win for Austin Dillon. He qualified 21st for this race. Wasn't really doing much throughout the race, but then once we had that unbelievable crash where the whole field was collected due to the rain, Austin Dillon was just in front. I don't know how in the heck he was able to go out in front, but that just happened. And then we've had the 3-hour rain delay. I like the idea that Austin Dillon was just staying focused, knowing that we're most likely going to go back racing, because, you know, I don't blame NASCAR saying about, like, it's the regular season finale. Why would we just cancel it or postpone it, you know, because of rain and stuff? So why not just get the whole race in? And you know, I actually agree with that. Even though we only had like 21 laps to go, I agree with that. But then after the red flag was lifted, it was Cindric versus Austin Dillon, and then kind of the move that I wasn't really too happy about. Austin Dillon just ran into the back of Cindric. I mean, I know he's trying to go for a playoff spot, but still, come on, dude. Nearly wrecked Cindric, but Cindric was able to save it. I'm surprised Cindric wasn't upset, but he was like, okay, just a bit of a bummer for him. But Austin Dillon gets to win at Daytona, his 4th career win, his first of 2022, his 2nd win at Daytona overall, won the 500 back in 2018. And it's weird. Every single time Austin Dillon's won at Daytona, he's had to have made contact with somebody. I mean, literally, he wrecked out Eric Almirola in turn 3 back in 2018, and literally nearly wrecked Cindric just to get the win here today. So, clean driver, huh? Anyway, 16 different winner. He's locked into the playoffs, so this is his first win in 2 years, so ended about like a 76, 75 race winless streak, and Truex Jr. is now eliminated from the playoffs, so him and Ryan Blaney have been locked in today. But really cool for Austin Dillon. Also, this is his first top 10 finish since Pocono, but his first top 5 finish since when he finished 2nd at Talladega earlier this year. So it's been a while since he finished in the top 5, but overall, really good for Austin Dillon and the 3 team. We'll see how he does it in the playoffs, but we'll do all that review on Thursday later this week, talking about their average finishes and just in general how they'll do. So we'll see how he'll do at Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. But what a win for Dillon and the 3 team. Life in the fast lane, huh? I don't know about all that. Finishing in P2 was Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, another driver who had a pretty solid day in my opinion. He qualified 6th for this race. I don't think they really qualified because of the whole rain situation on Friday evening, but still, Reddick was looking pretty strong throughout the race. He was just, he was just in there. Didn't really make any mistakes. He did get caught up in a couple wrecks, I believe, so he just had some damage, but he was still one of those drivers who was just he went through the battle, but he was still able to continue. So really good for Tyler Reddick and the 18 to just hang in there. And they weren't really going to go for the win that much. They were really just going to help Austin Dillon. So they were trying to move away from Cindric, Truex, all those drivers, and Gragson. So Reddick was just in there just to help his teammate, and that is exactly what he did today. So really good for Tyler Reddick. His 2nd top 10 finish in a row. His first top 5 since he got that win back at the Brickyard last month. But a really good victory just for RCR in general. Now both of their cars are in the playoffs for the first time since 2017, where Newman and Dillon both won that year. I don't know I know Dylan made the playoffs in 2018, but I don't know if Newman did. So this is the first time both RCR cars have made the playoffs since 2017. Also really cool, the first time since 2020 where Austin Dillon won at Texas, that's when RCR finished 1-2. They finished 1-2 here today. So really cool for both RCR cars. Just an RCR day. RCR everything. So really cool for both cars, both teams, just to be in the playoffs together. Finishing in P2 with a little bit of heartbreak was Austin Cindric, trying to go back-to-back at Daytona. Won here early this year, winning the Daytona 500. Just was not enough, and it kind of had some contact from another driver. So, but it was a bit of a bummer, a bit frustrating, but Cindric's okay with it. He's currently the 15th seed, or the 14th seed going into the playoffs. So we'll see how he does. He's been kind of down ever since he won the Daytona 500, but he's been kind of spiking up and down throughout the summer. So we'll see how Austin Cindric and the two team will pull together throughout the playoffs. But so far, like in this race, Cindric wasn't really that much of a threat. I mean, he was looking really promising earlier, but kind of fell back early because Kyle Larson had an issue, and Cindric was just the innocent guy right behind him. But then later in the race, it was him versus Austin Dillon, and we already talked about the contact. So it does suck for Austin Cindric, but really cool for him to get another top 5 finish. This is his first top 5 since the breakout, where he finished second in that race. So third place, can't be disappointed. A little bit of momentum for them going into the playoffs. So now this is where the finishes get wacky. We have Landon Castle finishing in P4 today. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's really cool to be one of the backmarker teams when it comes to these super speedway races, because you have opportunities like this where big wrecks happen and you're all the way in the back just chilling, vibing, and then once late in the race you can make something happen. And a top 5, really cool for Landon Castle. This is by far his best finish of the season out of the 8 races he's made. I mean, literally, his best finish before today was 15th in the Daytona 500. So really cool right there. And also, something really awesome is that this is his first top 5 finish since the Fall Talladega race back in 2014, where Brad Keselowski won that race. First top 5 since that race back in Talladega in 2014 when he was driving for Hillman Circle Sport. You know, that 33 car team? It wasn't really RCR, but it was still like the 33 car. How about that? His first top 5 since 2014. I mean, I honestly can't believe it. What, 5? It's been like 7, 8 years since he's got a top 5. So really cool for Landon Castle and the 77 team to get a nice solid top 5 finish for Spire. I bet this is the first top 5 or top 10 for Spire in, I don't know, God knows how long. Another driver I was rooting for was Noah Gragson. Really, I was really pulling for Noah Gragson towards the end, because I know Gragson or Castle, if those drivers won, it'd just be a win for the team. They wouldn't be in the playoffs. I knew all that and stuff, but I just really wanted to see Gragson do it, because like he was moving up. Like he got by David Reagan, got by Truex, he got by Reddick. Technically, Reddick was just pushing him until once he got up to Dillon. If Gragson tried to make a move on Dillon, Reddick wouldn't go with him because he'd rather help his teammate than affiliated teammate. So Gragson was on the move, but just was not enough. And heck, he did lose a bit of momentum after Cindric nearly took out him and Tyler Reddick, but still Gragson able to get a top 5. Really cool for him. Started 37th in this race, so I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is Gragson's best finish of the season, because before today his best finish was, I believe, 18th at Kansas. So really cool finish for Noah Gragson and the 62 team. Really cool to see Beard Motorsports get another top 5. Actually, is this their first top 5? I'm not really sure. It's probably in the history books somewhere of their top 5, top 10s, but still a nice solid finish for the 62 team with Noah Gragson. Okay, so I don't have a Rick Ware car, but we'll just use Ryan Preece's old car because it doesn't exist anymore. But finishing in 6th was Cody Ware. Started 33rd. Man, I don't know what to say about this. Before today, I don't even know what Cody Ware's best finish was. It was probably 17th at the Daytona 500, and as I'm looking through, yeah, it was 17th in the Daytona 500. Wow, a lot of drivers getting their best finish today. Their previous best finish had to be at Daytona. So really cool for Cody Ware to get a nice solid top 10 finish. I mean, I know a lot of us meme him and stuff, you know, oh, Cody Ware this, Cody Ware that, blah, 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 blah. But you gotta give a hand for Cody Ware for at least sticking in the race, not getting caught up in those wrecks late in this race. But really cool for him and the 51 team to get a nice solid top 10 finish. They gave it their all, so really cool for him. I'm pretty sure this is his first career top 10, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So really cool, and congrats to Cody Ware and the 51. Finishing in P7 was BJ McLeod. Another cool shout out for him. This is his first top 10 since he finished 9th in the Summer Daytona race last year. So really cool right there. And coming into this race, his best finish was 19th at the first Atlanta race and at the Coke 600. So really cool for BJ McLeod to get another shout out, to get a nice little top 10 finish for him and the team. Like literally, they started below 30th. So like I said, just really cool to see these teams starting from the back, able to get a nice solid shout out in some of these super speedway races. Man, oh man, oh man. Finishing in P8 was Martrix Jr. What a disappointment season it has really been for the 19 team. I mean, literally, but before we talk about the season, like, literally, this race was going out so perfect for him. First off, Blaney looked like he was out of the race for a second, but somehow they're able to fix his front tire and stuff. It could have been devastating for them, but hey, they were able to fix it. They were still able to compete, and Truex was getting a lot of points in stage 1, stage 2, so that's really good. But then in the final stage, he got caught up in that one wreck with McDowell when he got turned by Tyler Reddick and collected him, LaJoy, Byron Busher, and Chastain. That was not good for Truex because both drivers were trying to get in on points. Were involved in accidents today, so not good for both of them, but especially for Truex, because I don't know how, but like Custer and Jones at the end of the race, they were out. Blaney was moving up spots, and he was technically ahead of Truex before the race, so it wasn't looking good for Truex. Truex just needed 3 spots. He was making some gains coming down to the finish line, but just was not enough. So really, really, really big disappointment for Martrix Jr. in the 19 team. Literally, he signed a 1-year contract earlier this season, like around like the midpoint of the season, saying like, oh, don't worry, I'll be back. But it's kind of disappointing. He made the Final Four last year and won't even be in the playoffs this time. That just really sucks for Martrix Jr. But you can't do it all. Can't do it all. I mean, remember the times Jimmy Johnson didn't make the playoffs? Now it happens to Truex. So I don't know if Truex will make the playoffs next year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But just disappointed for the 19 team. All they can do now is just try and win. Finishing in 9th was David Reagan. I know this is technically Todd Gilliland, but if you look back here, it's actually a David Reagan car. But right here, we have David Reagan in the 15. What a finish for him. I mean, he started 34th and is able to get a nice solid 9th place finish. I mean, his best finish was in the Daytona 500 where he finished 8th, but still really cool. Just a bit of a shout out for David Reagan making his return in the 15 once again. And rounding out the top 10 and 10th was Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch looked really fast. I'm surprised he didn't win this race. I thought he was actually going to win it. He looked really fast. Like, it was like at some point in stage 2, Toyota had a really good strategy that was able to put them out in front. And it was great for Truex to gain points there, but it didn't matter in the end. But still, Kyle Busch was able to win the second stage, and I guess he got caught up a little bit in that one big wreck at towards the end of the race, around like 20 something laps to go. So that kind of sucked. He only had a little bit of damage, but I guess he just couldn't really make enough speed to like push anybody, or just didn't have the draft utilize it, so he just hung back in 10th. It didn't really matter, but Kyle Busch still trying to just get another win. But a nice solid top 10 for the 18 team. It's kind of weird to say because they don't really get top 10s at super speedways that much, but I guess you can take what you can take. So decent finish for the 18 team. So now let's rate this race. This race, like I said earlier, was definitely one of the craziest races of the season by far. It was definitely the best super speedway race we've had so far this season. We still have Talladega coming up in the second round, in the round of 12. But if I had to rate this one, I'll give it a 9.7 out of 10. Really a really great race, because I love like the racing we've had, like drivers literally going for it all, racing against the rain. It was just really cool. It was really cool to see Justin Haley out in front for a second, because I literally randomly picked him to win because I know how he's good at super speedways, but I didn't expect him to be out in front. But we had the rain come out on the track, and Haley wasn't really happy about NASCAR for not throwing out a caution. But speaking of that, the reason I don't give it a 10 out of 10 because the rain delays and stuff. Because yesterday we waited about 2 hours, and then the NASCAR official said, okay, we're going to try again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and then that's 7 a.m. on the West Coast. So I don't know if some NASCAR fans there were too happy about that, but it's better than nothing, because literally I saw on the radar at noon down in Daytona it would start raining again, and it did. And then we had the rain delay later again, about 3 hours, and Austin Dillon was just waiting. But I get why NASCAR decided to wait and let them like drive the track, because it's the regular season finale. We don't want the regular season finale just to end on or off a rain delay, so I kind of get it. And it's Daytona in the summer. Literally, what do you expect? So that's kind of the one downside of racing Daytona for the regular season finale, because late August, that is where random showers pick up out of nowhere in Florida. That's just how it is. You can't be Mother Nature about that. But I'm gonna give it a 9.7 out of 10 still. Let me know what you guys would give it in the comment section below. So now for the biggest story of the race, I just want to first talk about some people saying like, oh, NASCAR should have just called the race when Austin Dillon was out in front. I'm really glad NASCAR didn't, because it's the, like I said earlier just a few minutes ago, it's the regular season finale. We don't really want it to end off on a rain delay. It's like the biggest lead up going into the playoffs. So really props to NASCAR and Daytona drying the track as fast as they could. I know it took about 3 hours because it's like a 2.5 mile track, so it's going to take that long, but I'm really proud of NASCAR for doing that. Another thing was the officiating. Did NASCAR make the wrong call by like not throwing out the caution where some drivers were saying, oh, it's raining here pretty hard? I don't know, because this is the first time we actually saw, well, first time in a while, I guess, we've seen rain hit the track on Daytona, and they're traveling at high speeds, and literally the way the car shifted, like Daniel Suarez and Justin Haley, they really got loose, and they all went up into the wall collecting others. So really, really, really dangerous. Glad no one was hurt. I'm pretty sure Suarez was a bit shaken up after that one, but am I on NASCAR side, or I'm just saying like it's Florida showers, they pick it up? I'm on no one's side, because it's really hard to say, because the driver was kind of right about like it was raining a little bit, but it wasn't raining that bad. Like earlier in the race it was raining in a certain part of the track, but it wasn't that bad to where NASCAR had to throw out the caution. Just a little light shower, but I'm guessing once after they passed that, it picked up really, really, really hard to where, yeah, no grip whatsoever. So I don't know if I could really blame NASCAR's officiating on that. It probably would have been the safer bet to just throw the caution, but it's really hard to decide. So I can't say if I can defend NASCAR or just be against NASCAR for that. So I honestly don't know. But I will say it's much better than the incident we had in New Hampshire last year, because that was blatantly clear NASCAR completely missed that one. But now, moving on to this next subject. And the subject is right in front of me. We are talking about Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney with Truex and Kurt Busch. So it all starts out right here. NASCAR, or Kurt Busch announced a couple days ago that he would officially not be racing in the playoffs because he will not be back in time for Darlington. So really, at this point for Kurt Busch, I just don't want him to return this season. I want to see him fresh back for 2023, so that's when I want to see Kurt Busch. I don't want to see him keep racing right now. Let Ty Gibbs finish out the season, or John Hunter Nemechek, someone, whoever. Just let them finish out. Kurt Busch, let him just stay out. And since he's staying out, I don't know if he actually is, but since he's not in the playoffs, he removed his medical playoff waivers, so that meant that 2 spots were up for grabs in the playoffs. Either if Truex or Blaney would either be in the playoffs, or Truex and a new driver, or Blaney and a new driver, and it was Blaney and a new driver thanks to that. So now Austin Hill and Ryan Blaney both locked into the playoffs. I don't know if not Truex, but if Toyota's completely happy about removing the waiver because they were looking to see like, oh, maybe we can have Blaney and Truex still make it, or we can have a new driver and Truex still make it. Well, it completely backfired because Truex ultimately missed the playoffs. So Austin Dillon is in, Blaney is also in. We'll see how both of these guys will do, but yeah, just like I said, it does suck for Truex and the 19 team. Having all that throughout the season, even the pressure about Truex, was he going to retire, all that stuff. A lot of things were clouding his mind throughout this season, but it just wasn't meant to be. That's just how it happens sometimes. So Austin Dillon and Blaney are officially the 2 drivers locked into the playoffs. Let me check just in case. Did Dillon? Alright, no, nothing is said yet about Dillon failing post-race inspection, but I'm not going to jinx him right there. But that's what I wanted to talk about, just like the playoffs and how it worked and stuff, and about Kurt Busch and the 45 team. Now time for drivers of the day. Starting off with comeback driver of the day, I gotta give it to Ryan Blaney, like hands down. Literally, he was involved in the first incident of the race, literally like 30 laps in. It looked like they were done for the day, but they were able to fix it. He wasn't really that fast, couldn't really utilize the draft that much. Heck, his hood was flapping up and down a few laps after they kind of fixed the damage. He was like, what, 5, 6, 7 laps down. I don't even know how much. He was like in the 30s, and somehow, someway, with all these crashes, everything happened, he was able to still finish in the top 15, I believe. So what a comeback for him, and he made the playoffs. So that's a big comeback right there for Ryan Blaney and the 12 team. So really props to them for getting it done. Oh, I also want to point out there's no unlucky driver of the day, because literally everyone was unlucky. I was going to say like a Haley or Larson or a Michael McDowell, but literally everyone was unlucky today, especially those who were involved in that one wreck where the rain came out and it just took out the field. But now moving on to underdog driver of the day, gotta give it Landon Castle. First top 5 finish since 2014. You cannot beat that. That is really cool finish for him and just 77 team in general, just to have Landon Castle on board. And I know Landon Castle was kind of unlucky a couple times in the race Friday night, or technically Saturday morning. I don't know. In the Xfinity race, he was kind of unlucky, so it did suck right there for him. But still able to come back in the Cup race and get a top 5 finish. Really cool for him, Inspire Motorsports. And then finally, overall driver of the day, I guess you could say Austin Dillon. Literally, he was able to get past the wreck. That was not an easy task to do. I mean, Truex got through it, but I think Dillon got through it better because he was still kind of accelerating a bit faster than Truex. Truex was just holding back, letting the carnage happen in front of him. Dillon was just going past it off the banking and stuff. But still, I gotta give it to Austin Dillon because he kept the mental part in his mind about saying, like, okay, this race is not over. He kind of knew that NASCAR wasn't going to just end the race and stuff because it's the regular season finale. He kind of knew something was going to happen, so he was able to make up the spots. Kind of got into Cedric a little bit dirty there, but he was still able to pull out and get the win, holding off those guys for the last few laps. So really cool for Austin Dillon, the 3 team. I guess you could say he's the driver of the day. Okay guys, it is officially time. We now look at our 16 playoff drivers heading into the first race of the season in Darlington next week. So here we are. We have the main man, the regular season champ, Chase Elliott, followed by Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Kevin Harvick, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman, and then finally Austin Dillon rounding out that final 16 spot. So of course we already know that these 4 are currently below the cut line. If I can do this right, yeah, there we go. Those guys are currently below the playoff cut line, so we'll see what they can do. So currently, if we think about it, Suarez is -2 from Chase Briscoe. Cindric is -3. Same thing with Bowman. He's also -3, and then Dillon is -4. So literally anything can change. We'll see how chaotic Darlington is, because it was really chaotic last year in the playoffs. A lot of drivers were out early, and even throughout the race, a lot of drivers had some issues. So we'll see if Darlington is going to be that crazy for the Southern 500. It's going to be longer than the Goodyear 400 earlier this year, but should be fun. But that's going to do it for the regular season. 26 episodes looking at the regular season. I mean, we've had some bonuses with like the All-Star race and the Busch Clash and then the duels, but really cool to have this one ended off. So now it is time to get ready for the playoffs. But starting up, I'm going to have a cool little video up this Tuesday talking similar about the playoffs, but then I'll have my actual cut playoff predictions for the round of 16 up on Thursday, so get ready for that. But that's going to do it for today's, guys. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Like I said before, thank you guys so much for hitting 200 subs a week ago today. Now we're at 217, so I really do appreciate it. So the road to 300 continues. Let's get up to my gaming channel and hit 100 subs there. We are 1 subscriber away, so let's go ahead and do that. Should be uploading a F1 video on my gaming channel up tomorrow, so make sure you guys subscribe so you do not miss that. Also, if you want to check out my Instagram, link will also be down in the description below. And that's going to do it for this one. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the regular season and everything. The playoffs, it's going to get wild. It has so far really been the best NASCAR season I've watched so far yet, but it's going to get even crazier with these last 10 races of the season. Man, this season flew by fast, but it's going to be fun. So see you guys Tuesday. So see you guys there. Have a great rest of your day. This is NASCAR Gaming 48, NASCAR Mobile 48. Peace out. Oh my god, I need to go to sleep.